You're doing a build now, but there's not enough RAM to go around.
Give me a break! I'm doing what has to be done.
You keep telling yourself that. Hate to break up the set.
I am absolutely sick of using laptops. There's always something in my workflow that I need, that I have to find some kind of fix because it's not really built in. For example, 10 gigabit Ethernet, more monitors, or some kind of USB connectivity where I have to unconnect something else or connect a dock or something else to get the functionality that I actually need for my workflow. So I thought, do you know what? Sack it. I am going to build myself a PC. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking RAM shortage, NVMe's prices up, GPU's prices up. And I thought the same thing, but everybody's still wrong. I didn't know this was actually gonna be such a good idea because after doing some testing, I found some very interesting things. So if you're mildly a creator that does any creative work, I spent way too much time figuring some things out, and now I can share them with you to hopefully help you with your workflow. This is not just any PC. This is a very unconventional case and layout. Plus, how nice does this look? And you might be wondering, why do you still have these laptops on this side? We'll get to that in a minute, but first, let's build it. Asus Expertbook Ultra. Expertbook means business and a lot more, featuring up to Intel Core Ultra Series 3 X9 and up to 64 GB of RAM. Asus has engineered the very best performance into an incredibly thin and light business chassis, delivering serious power without the bulk. At just less than a kilo with up to 24 hours of battery life, it's built for professionals on the move. You also get a stunning 120Hz variable refresh rate, 3K tandem OLED display with matte coating to cut those annoying office reflections, and up to 1400 nits brightness and a precision haptic trackpad. Expert Cool Pro thermal mastery keeps performance consistent, cooling the chip at up to 50 watts TDP so you get sustained power when it matters most. It's not just powerful, it's tough. Built to military grade standards and backed by enhanced Asus durability testing, this is a device designed to handle the realities of modern business life. For security, Asus Expert Guardian protection ensures ultimate data integrity and a peace of mind. It also has all the connectivity one could want, including Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4 and Thunderbolt 4 ports. Performance, design, security and proven durability all in one ultra slim machine. Check out our full unsponsored overview in the description below, and thanks Asus for sponsoring this part of the video. I'm actually going to start with the power supply because I have recently ruined quite a bit of tech on this channel because of the slippers and the carpet. And the slippers I've been using must be like very rubbery. So when I'm walking around, I'm creating a lot of static. And then when I'm picking stuff up, I've actually ruined a few things. For example, these M.2 enclosures that I've been using, I've ruined 3 of them. They've just completely died. Interestingly, the SSD inside is alive, but the enclosure just dead, which is interesting. So the way we're gonna solve this is our power supply, 850 watts. I'm hoping it's gonna be enough for this build. So plugged in the back. And when I'm turning it on, now I've been earthed and everything should be fine. Okay, this motherboard is giving it away what type of platform we're going for, but I needed a beast of a platform because I need 10 gigabit Ethernet. It's one of the main reasons. Oh my goodness. Ooh. Can we even fit this in? Oh no, this is bad. I should have checked it before, but it doesn't fit into there. No, like this screw is in the way. So basically, the trouble is in this corner right here. Like there's a standoff right over there, and technically it could go past it over here, but this is just an ATX case. So basically what I need to know is, do I have another ATX motherboard with 10 gigabit Ethernet? But I really wanted this motherboard. This is eATX though. Okay, change of plan. And I suppose maybe that's a bit of a good point to make about the Creator motherboards on Asus ProArt. They are all ATX motherboards. But I really wanted this one. Look at this. You've got this mint like display and everything that would be absolutely amazing in there. Okay, I guess we're gonna have to make another PC build then for this one. If you haven't seen this motherboard video, I was quite proud of that motherboard video. Now, this is X670E, and if you know, there's already X870E, but X670 is completely fine in this case because it still supports all the same things. I've got 10 gigabit Ethernet, I've got USB 4s. We might have to update the BIOS, but if you want motherboards for AM5 socket, actually X670, there's not that big of a difference, and you might find them even cheaper. Now, the nicer thing about the newer motherboards would be that it would be a bit more easier DIY. We're gonna have to do some screwing in here, but regardless, I think it's gonna be good. So the CPU I'm gonna be using is their AMD Ryzen 9 9950X3D. So this is the first time I'm building my personal rig on AM5 platform. I've tried the Threadripper before, but now I'm gonna go AM5, and this is the full-on gaming CPU. So I'm not gonna be doing any gaming on it, but I just wanna know what it's gonna be like, and if that's gonna be any good. Okay. That's installed. Now, next off, what we're gonna be doing is M.2 SSD, and I'm gonna go PCIe Gen 5 because I want the absolute best. What I have here is the Samsung 9100 Pro, 4 terabyte NVMe. Plug it in there, that down, swap it, and then screw it in. Then next off, we've got some RAM, and as a creator, I need quite a bit for this. So we're gonna go with 128 gigabytes of DDR5 6000. I understand that this is super expensive right now, and if I was actually buying the RAM right now, I probably wouldn't do it. But since I've already bought it before it was mental, then it's justified, right? I'm gonna install this a little bit differently this time. Now, you have heard what I have said in my videos that AMD is not as good with the memory controller. So this is definitely out of AMD's spec. And I really wanna know if we can actually run this spec or not. Can we get the 6000 speed out of these RAMs or not? Well, you might already know that, but we're gonna find out. Look at these black boys. If you do want to check out any of these things that I'm using, any of the parts, I'm gonna leave the link in the description below, where you can also find our mailing list. So if you're a creator and you want to know the latest news about your hardware workflow, if there is any hardware that is new in the workflow, then I highly recommend signing up for that mailing list. Okay, I think we're gonna have to take this side panel off, which is this screw in here. So as you can see, there are MATX boards here. So eATX does not fit into here. This hole in here is gonna be in the way. See, we even have to do these, get these fans out of the way. Okay, now this just slides off. Just gonna take, whoa, proprietary fan connectors, RGB and PWM all together. Okay, motherboard is in, and while we're in here, what I'll do is I'm gonna put some of these cables in from the back already, because that might be a little bit difficult later on. So what we want is front panel audio. This is these fans headers. That's the front panel. These other ones we can do it later. So front panel into there. So these fan cables that came proprietary connectors. On the other side, there's PWM and ARGB. So these we can nicely put on the bottom here. Now we can even put this back. The next thing we can do is actually the power supply. So the way this power supply goes in is actually fascinating. You're just gonna slide it into there. But before we do that, I believe this bracket here is gonna come out. Yes. 4 screws for the power supply. Okay, now when the bracket's on, into the back, then screw that back. Very different power supply building experience. Interestingly, the way actually I could put it the other way as well. Let me think. Oh yeah, this is gonna be difficult to plug that cable in. So I'm gonna put it intake from the bottom and exhaust from the top. I can easily flip it. And now, ooh, they haven't thought about this very well. I wonder if this plugs in or not. Huh. Look, this is a bit of a design fault because this does not properly plug in to the power supply. Let me see if that is true. If I pull this out. Yeah, see, even with the bracket, this bracket is in the way you put the power supply in there. But I think it's still gonna work. But when I put this screw in there, that screw hole is gonna be even more in the way. Yeah, the power supply is not gonna move anywhere, but maybe I'd be able to plug it in. This is nice though, isn't it? Look, all of our power supply cables in there without having a special like side-mounted power supply. I think when it comes to PSUs, they're often one of the most overlooked parts of the PC build. You don't put supermarket fuel into Ferrari, neither should you have a low-quality PSU for your high-end PC build. Perhaps you've never heard about the FSP Vita GM lineup. Well, they're producing very high-quality PSUs. It's got all the flashy standards you want. In fact, it's sold as 80+ gold tier product while achieving platinum level efficiency. And they offer 10 years warranty, so that ticks all the boxes for me. Motherboard. I could even do it this way. CPU. I need 1 extra PCIe cable. The included cable for the 12-volt high power is actually very nicely sleeved. So sometimes you get them all these like cables separately, but I like that they've put this shrink around it. Make sure you fully seat that in. Now back on this side, CPU to the top, and just bear in mind when you don't have the top panel installed in this case, the case is a little bit more fragile and a bit more bendy because the top panel gives it rigidity. Starting to look good. Now I'm gonna install some extra fans because these bottom ones are gonna feed the GPU. I want the rest of the system to get good airflow as well from the front. And I've got nothing better than these Noctua Chromax. So this is new, 140mm fans. There is no 120mm at the time of me making them yet in terms of black versions, but these are gonna go very, very well. And this dual system here, on the back, what you can see is PPB and then PPA, which means that they are slightly going to run at different speeds. So when they're in the front, they're going to be extra quiet. If you've seen this before and you are subscribed, double tap the screen right now. But if you haven't subscribed yet, then you're part of the 80% that are watching the videos but are not subscribed. Consider subscribing so you don't miss the future uploads. You can already make these fans run at different speeds in BIOS if you run them into different PWM headers on the motherboard. So the tip here is that if you've already got the system, just separate those fans out a little bit and make them run different speeds. But because these are already at different speeds, what I can do is literally have a Y adapter, which means 1 cable into 2. In terms of cable management wise, it's just going to be so much easier pushing that into there. And I've got 1 extra one here. And this is gonna go in the back. Oh, the nice thing is that if I do it this way, I can literally plug it into that place over there. Look, This is so cool. You can put the cable into there, or I'll run the cable somewhere from the top here into the back, but I think this is a much nicer way. This is a cable extension from Noctua as well, which I'm probably gonna need to plug in, but I'm gonna put this back. This goes into there. That keeps all of our cables nice and clean from here. Look at that. That is actually very nice. This here can actually be moved up and down, and I'm looking from here, I might need to move it slightly up. Now when this is loose, look, this can move up and down. So we want to put our GPU in first here, and then, I know this is not ideal for all the cables underneath, but honestly, for now it's fine. Where's our GPU? Because that is going to be a beast. I do have one downside about this GPU, and you can find that out in the dedicated video. I mentioned that over there when I tested it, but it's so beautiful, and it's just going to fit into there perfectly well. Ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. Look at this. Oh yeah. See how this GPU bracket can move? I'm just going to move that GPU bracket up, so we would hold it and then tighten it down from this side. So this is not going to move. Then I'll put these screws back on this side, and then now. This is quite a backwards build, because at this point usually you already have a cooler installed, but I'm going to do it very much backwards and then install the cooler like the last thing, which actually puts the whole case together, which is interesting. And then now we can move this all the way down back there and then tighten this up. You could move it all the way up if you wanted to, but I think this is really nice. It just kind of finishes the PC off really nicely in this and keeps it nice and clean on this side. There's a front panel here as well. Oh, this is an interesting one though. There is a mesh filter in the back over here, and that's to actually filter out the power supply, you know, exhaust. But the thing is, I'm gonna just move the mesh on this side because I don't need to filter the air that's coming out, because that's just gonna restrict the airflow out, because I want this to get out as fast as possible. I'm gonna leave the actual mesh in this side. The other thing I need to figure out is, where are we gonna put the power cable for this? I wonder if there's some cases online where they show this. Okay, they moved this right down from here, so from the middle down, so I guess we're gonna have to do the same thing. We'll take this off. There we go, perfect. Perfectly right way as well. Make sure your power supply is turned on. This is as in as possible. Look how clean this now looks from the front. Now we need to install the cooler, or the whole top of the case. Ooh la la, which is this guy here. So, the way this will work is okay. And then now the cooler gets, how does the cooler get attached? Okay, the good thing is this can go whichever way on, but I'm probably gonna have it this way. Look how good of a color match almost is between these GPUs and this here. I know this is more silver and this is a bit more like bronzy color, but to me it kind of looks very similar. So this case actually comes with the case accessories and the cooler accessories, because that cooler comes with the case. So where are my AMD standoffs? Comes with included thermal paste. When in doubt, put a bit more than you think. Made this a bit more difficult to myself than I thought. In terms of the way the cables go, it just looks so clean. So clean. I mean, look at it. It's very nice. Okay. This is AIO pump. Still got so much space on the top here. Usually you've got like fans and radiator. Now this is so easy to build on the top when there's none of that, because this is all up there and it's already pre-installed. No screws, no fans on the AIO, which usually takes the most time, so that's cool. Okay, this is the fan headers on the top. I come in from there. CPU fan. Oh, look at this. Like, they've really thought about the cable management. I could like make it go down there, but this really just hides the cables from me, which is so nice. I've got everything plugged in apart from these fans in the front, and I'm gonna take them from the top. Actually, I don't need CPU fans, so this is gonna be just chassis fans, which I can easily take from there. No, this is gonna be too much in the way. Ideally now, because these are all separate chambers, what you want is these two fans actually affect the GPU temperature. So you want these fans to kind of run from the system temperature, not the CPU temperature, because that is completely different. And these fans in there handle that. None of these, what happens inside, do that, which is a little bit of a different thinking that I have done before. So I'll have to think about that. Yeah, I probably will have to put this into there. Perfect, such a good fit. Look at this. Again, you don't see that cable anywhere, but this goes on the back over there, and then we'll adjust it in here. I'm just gonna plug it in. Okay, now it's testing time. The way I do things is, once all of this is built, I'm not gonna do the cable management because I wanna test this first. So let me get a monitor so we can actually see what's happening. Okay, power goes in. Hey. Why is it already turning the PC on? That should not have happened. Well, I guess we're gonna see. Oh, the RGB for that one. I forgot to turn that one on. So this RGB cable there. Ah, look at that. I don't particularly like this. We're gonna turn the color probably white. Since that's working, what we can do is put the beautiful front panel on. Boot, there we go. New CPU installed, so we're gonna click yes. Look at that. It's running the memory at 3600. This is like DDR4 speeds. Let me just install the Windows, BIOS, update everything, and then we'll come back to you. Okay, I've actually been using this PC now for about a week or so, and I am so happy to be back on a desktop, especially with this ultra-wide 34-inch from MSI OLED 300 Hz display. Oh, it's absolutely amazing. But one of the biggest things that I think people miss in videos is how much better the desktop is from a laptop. I test a lot of laptops on the channel. The desktop is just on a whole other level. It's just so much better, especially when it comes to docking and making a workstation. I try to run the 10 gigabit Ethernet, whether on the MacBook Pro or on the ProArt P16 with the 10 gigabit QNAP adapter, USB 4 to 10 gigabit, but it's not the same. 10 gigabit Ethernet is on, and everything is just really, really nice, because now I can unload all the footage and stuff that we're doing here all the time onto the NAS super, super fast. So I've left this hardware monitor on for the last 16 hours. So that's like yesterday at some point I put it on. And then during that time, I've exported a few videos, and it's gone to 197 watts maximum power draw from this 9950X 3D. I've got the iGPU on as well, which we're gonna have to turn off because I don't think this is helpful here, because sometimes it uses iGPU instead of DGPU. And because the AMD Radeon iGPU just doesn't give us anything, it's just get rid of it. There's no point having this on, really. Now, interestingly, during what I have been doing here, I've used 74 gigabytes of RAM, which also shows that 64 gigabytes in my workflow is not enough. And at the moment, I'm using the 4 sticks, and these are going 3,600 megatransfers per second. And here's the thing, unfortunately, these memory sticks are not in the QVL list for this motherboard. I don't know why. This is, sometimes you get these odd pieces of RAM kits that just aren't supported as much, and this is one of those. What I want to do is swap it out to 96 gigabytes, because I now know that should still be enough RAM in what I'm doing, but we'll get a lot faster memory, because right now we're basically running them still at DDR4 speeds, which we're not getting any benefit of going with DDR5. At the moment in this room, there's 23 degrees Celsius, and let's try some cooling performance then. As you can see, we've maxed out at 75 degrees, which is very, very good, but I really want to push this synthetically now and then see how far we can get with this. 200 watts. I'm not really hearing the CPU, to be honest. It's just so quiet. 72 degrees, and we're pulling 200 watts. Our core clock speeds are roughly around 5.1. The maximum we've had is 5.7 on this, which is amazing. Bear in mind, this CPU is overclockable, so I wonder if you could just make it run 6 gigahertz and then say, you know, off you go. We'll see. It's just constantly pulling 200 watts, and we're not getting past the 75 degrees. It just really, that's where it sits. And that is very good temperature. 2070 points in Cinebench R24. I was downloading the Ryzen master in the background. So we are a couple of 100 points off. It should be 2,358 points. So we're a couple of 100 points off, but I think this is because I'm doing lots of things in the background. So let me try to close some more things. It's changed. It's been a while since I've, okay. Oh, the memory clock is not gonna work. Export, we're gonna have to have it off. So we'll try PBO Advanced. Override CPU, it goes only 100 megahertz, but let's see. Let's see if this pulls any more now. Pushing 215 watts, something like that. Our temperature hasn't really changed. I can see that the clock speeds have gone a little bit higher to 5.2. I can see the clock speeds have gone roughly around 100 megahertz higher in all of them. Interestingly, again, we're not getting the full utilization or full score here. I wonder if I stop that. Okay, all cores should run now at 5.5 gigahertz. Yep, we've crashed. Okay, there we go. Integrated graphics disabled. Okay, let's try this again. PBO Advanced. I'm going to see if I can override this CPU by 200. So I'm maxing that one out. 22,112. That's better than before, or 10% better than what we got. Well, roughly about 10% better what we had before. So I'm going to do a real world test of, does the PBO actually matter, and then does the RAM speed actually matter? So what we can see now is how much actual CPU usage we use, and then how much GPU we're using. Okay, the first test is done now. We did it in 14 minutes and 3 seconds. Now, here's the thing. We're gonna reset the status, and I'm gonna go back to default settings. So this is completely stock of everything. And then we're gonna do exactly the same test again. Reset. We're gonna go again. Now that is fascinating. I just completed it without the OC, and we did it in 13 minutes and 33 seconds. So literally by not OCing it, as you can see, we are shaving 30 seconds off our 14 minutes export, which is pretty crazy. Another thing interestingly that I noticed is that whenever we were exporting picture in picture, or there's extra things on top of each other in Premiere Pro, the NVIDIA card suddenly kicks in and starts doing a lot of the heavy work. But now I want to get this 96 gigabytes of RAM installed with higher speeds, and I want to see if that makes any difference. So already the base speed of this RAM is 48 megatransfers per second, so extra 1,200 megatransfers per second. But that is not the XMP, so we're gonna restart this, go into the BIOS and put XMP on. Okay, we've put on the tweaked one, so let's see if we can get 6,400 megatransfers per second. We've literally more than doubled the memory speed now compared to the previous one, but we only have 96 gigabytes. Okay, would you look at that? 6,400 megatransfers per second, 96 gigabytes. Exactly the same test. Let's go. Okay, now it's done with the XMP enabled. And what is our result? 1209. We shaved another 30 seconds. No, wait a second. That is huge performance improvement. So now we just shaved off a minute and a half pretty much. So on the right, I've got stock settings, and then now with XMP, literally a minute and a half less. That is massive. But now I want to see if the XMP will also give our CPU some extra boost, how and what it can do. So we're going to go BBO advanced, and I'm just going to put the same settings on there. Boost override CPU 200, everything maximum. We're gonna just press apply. So basically now we've got XMP, but then now CPU boost as well. So let's take a look what it would be now. Another thing I want to show here is our Ethernet speed. So we're reading at 1.3 gigabits per second. So I wonder if our internet speed or the Ethernet speed is also a bottleneck in this setup. So the next test, what I will be doing is if I'm going to move all the files locally to see if our NAS or Ethernet connection is going to be the bottleneck. So stick around. Okay, now I've completed the test again. What we have is XMP on and PBO manual is on as well. So, wow, another 20 something seconds, 11:38. Okay, take a look at this. We've got stock RAM speed, 3600, 128 gigabytes. Then we've got the PBO enabled on the stock manual RAM, 3600 speed. Then we've got stock 3600 speed, and then PBO enabled in there. So basically, overclocking when your RAM speed is just standard doesn't really matter whatsoever. Then if you've got a faster RAM speed, that shaves huge amounts off. We're basically 2 minutes faster, from 14 to 12 minutes, or a minute and a half faster compared to just everything stock. And if we've got the manual PBO enabled, overclocked, and the XMP is on 6400 as well, we've shaved extra 31 seconds we have got off, which is just huge difference in terms of all the encoding. So this is absolutely fascinating. So if you're looking at the stock RAM bandwidth, or the DRAM bandwidth, we're about 28, 29 gigabytes per second. If we overclock the CPU, obviously RAM doesn't change at all, but then going with the faster RAM speed, 6400 RAM speed, we are at 42 gigabytes, and which is the same in there on the PBO manual. We're at 42. We're almost doubling the bandwidth by actually going double the speed, which is interesting. It's quite linear what we're seeing here. Also, when enabling PBO with the XMP, what I saw was the actual power draw of the CPU was higher. What I see over there is 236 watts compared to just 210 watts when it's overclocked, but RAM speed is not different. So when we've got an XMP enabled, the CPU can do extra stuff and we're pulling extra 26 watts in there. But we're seeing the same things actually different in there. So maximum CPU power draw, if we just got the XMP enabled, is 200 watts, whereas on there we've got 196. So only a couple of watts difference, which we basically say it's the same. But PBO can now suddenly enable extra power when we have XMP enabled, which is fascinating. Another thing I'd like to mention is that probably my VRAM is the bottleneck. This 5080 from MSI, it has 16 gigabytes of VRAM, and I have used all of it. As you can see, 15.5, 15.4, this is just 15.4, which means that we're probably VRAM bottlenecked as well. Now, the last test that I'm about to do is I'm going to copy all of these files from all over the different NASs and everything that I have, and I'm going to put them locally on desktop. That's what I'm doing right now. And then we're going to do the export again to see if the storage having locally on the Gen 5 NVMe, remember what we installed, is that going to be any different? And are we going to get faster speeds? So now what I'm opening is this is actually located on the C drive. So on the desktop, everything should be in there, which means that we shouldn't be bottlenecked with any of the network drives or NAS or any of the other storage. Well, allegedly. So we're going to do that test now. Okay, there it is. As you can see, different location. Let's do exactly the same test, but now we should be able to see this SSD massively in use. Okay, this just finished, so let me just take a look at this. Oh, wow. That is a huge difference, guys. So the best time so far was 11 minutes and 38 seconds, and now it's 10 minutes and 26 seconds. We've shaved extra minute and 12 seconds off, which is ridiculous. So we went from 14 minutes something to 10 minutes and 26 seconds. That is a massive difference. Okay, I didn't expect the NAS to be that big of a difference. Apparently this is. If I had everything locally, it would be faster. But the thing is, I just can't fit all 50 terabytes locally. So I'm gonna have to be somewhat storage bottlenecked. But these tests are absolutely fascinating and I did not expect that. One thing for certain, I'm gonna keep the PBO manual on at maximum speed because 82 degrees and we are 24 something degrees in this room right now. So the temperatures are going to be completely fine on this, even when I'm pulling 240 watts. This cooling on that PC really keeps up with it, and having cool air coming in just makes sense. And why not just keep that extra little bit of performance there, because it does help. Now, after I'd done all the testing on the PC, I thought, how much better is it actually? And second question is, how expensive is it? How much do we actually have to pay for all of these? Because these parts I've got before the prices went up. So if you were about to buy this, are you gonna pay the ridiculous tax? Well, let's talk about the performance first. So these two laptops, I did exactly the same tests on these two. So after exporting, the PX16 with RTX 5090 mobile with 24 gigabytes of VRAM, remember, we are actually VRAM bottleneck there, finished the export in 14 minutes and 18 seconds, which is the slowest of the bunch. But regardless, quite impressive for a laptop. And the 5090 and Creator laptop, they're doing good work in there. Bear in mind, I wasn't running any other programs in there, but it's still about 4 minutes slower than what we have over here, which is huge difference in time. Now, what about the MacBook? A lot better. This MacBook has 128 gigabytes of RAM, which also can be allocated to the GPU. So the GPU has a lot of VRAM. This MacBook completed it in 13 minutes and 30 seconds, which for a laptop is impressive, but regardless, our PC here is about 22% faster than this laptop, while having 4 times the SSD capacity and a lot better ports. Now, yes, this PC is not portable, but it's upgradable I'm sure you already know that. It's running Windows, which everybody hates these days, even the Windows guys. And the parts are overpriced. So I thought, let's take a look at the pricing, because if you want to pick up any one of these laptops, you're gonna have to cash out 5 grand, which is quite a lot. New egg. And when adding all the same things into the basket, I can see that my total is $5,800, which, yes, kind of expensive. But then I thought, well, if you're a PC guy, you kind of know how to shop around and how to make sure that you're getting a good deal. So I went on Amazon and then added some things onto the cart. We're using the 9950X, not the 3D, because do you know what? The 3D for creators doesn't really give any extra performance. For motherboard, we're going with X870E because it's actually cheaper than the older version that I'm using. Also, going with a slightly different model of the RTX 5080, we're saving over $500. Bear in mind, there is another model if you've got Prime membership that is extra $100 off. Then, using 96 gigabytes of RAM, yes, about $1,000, but one of the nicest looking ones in there. Using the same power supply, different NVMe drive. If you don't want to buy this particular case and you want to go with any other case, I'm just picking up something random for 100 and a very good AIOSL, plus a 32-inch QD OLED 4K 240Hz display from Samsung on top of that, and with $5,238. As you can see, more power, more storage, insane display with it, and we're about the same price. Bear in mind, the Samsung monitor also has a coupon code for $100, and there's another same spec GPU with a different model, $100 cheaper, which brings us to 5 grand. Now, I did not expect that. If you want to check these out, I'm going to leave the link in the description below. I don't know how long this lasts, but if you want to take advantage of that as a creator, if you need a workstation, this is amazing. I've been using it for a bit and it's just so nice. On a laptop, you feel like you're on a laptop. No matter what the benchmarks say that, oh, this is about 20% faster. When you're working on it, it's just so much better. You've got unlimited ports that are just way too much that you're ever gonna need. Whatever you plug in, it's just fast. It's just incredible. It's just always chugs through. There's no like, oh, laptop fans are kicking in and it's gonna get the performance down because it gets hot. It's just at that speed at all times. I'm loving it. I'm only scratching the surface of what this PC can do. And yes, in my workflow, I would love to have a 5090, but even the 5080 is just amazing. And finally having 10 gigabit Ethernet, oh, it's just so good. Regardless of it being more expensive than a little while ago, but I'm sorry, laptops. PC building apparently is not dead. Surprise, surprise. I've got some awesome information for creators. As you know, we benchmark hundreds of GPUs and CPUs and other tech on the channel for creators. If you scan this QR code over here, you get access to our internal data and benchmark database. There's also a link in the video description below if you want to check that out. And we'll also be sending you my 3 tips for optimizing your PC that I also do for video editing. So if you're interested in that, scan that QR code. If you have any other questions or requests, check out Minect in the video description below. I'll always get back to my Minect messages 100% and very fast. So if you want that, link in the description below. If you'd like to stay up to date with the tech and information that's important for creators, highly recommend signing up to our mailing list, which you can scan through this QR code or find the link in the description below as well. And this is for people who don't have time to always search for the information, but just want the right information to land directly into their email box. And I am not a big fan of spamming inbox because I'm one of you guys. So I've just created a way how you can get access to the best information relevant for you. And hey, if you've reached this far, then YouTube thinks that this is one of the videos that you'll like next. And actually hitting that like button, it makes a difference. Subscribe with bell to not miss any of the future uploads. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much guys for watching. Bye-bye.